Hello, this is Niswander. I am here at the Frida Cinema in downtown Santa Ana, California, with Logan Crow. Um, we're sitting right now in what is a movie theater, of course. How did you develop a passion for wanting to get into this kind of business?
I grew up in Hermosa Beach, and we had an art
Great.
house there. You familiar? Yeah, called the Bijou. And the Bijou was sort of my home away from home through pretty much late elementary school, high school. Back then, you didn't have, you can go now to a 30-plex theater and they'll be playing whatever the Weinstein release or an independent film. But back then, we had the Galleria 3-plex, and then if you wanted to see a foreign film or an independent film or an LGBT film or a cult film, you had to find an art house, and we had the Bijou. And so, my father and my mother were really big film enthusiasts, and so they would take me there. And I think I saw Il Postino there, and Diva from France, and all these great films. And I really became,
I've seen that movie. Yes, wasn't that bizarre?
It is. It's so new wave and fantastic. And I was just really obsessed with the strangeness of the films. I didn't know what art house was. I didn't know what that meant. I just knew that there were the films that my friends were watching, like The Goonies, Gremlins, and then there was Blue Velvet, which my parents took me to see when I was 10.
Really? Wow.
They did, and it was formative. Blue Velvet, I always say, changed my life, because after I saw that, I could not have possibly understood half of what was going on in that movie, but I wanted to see every film like it. I wanted to see colors and loudness and just strangeness, and so the Bijou was my home away from home. And when the Bijou closed, it was a traumatic moment. It was like, it reflects back on Cinema Paradiso crumbling down at the end of that movie, and how my heart breaks every time. And as soon as I turned 18, or whatever, 16, got a car, then it was off to LA to the New Beverly, and then New Art and all these wonderful places. God bless them. And
were you a Rocky Horror fan?
I was a Rocky Horror fan in high school for like a year. My junior year of high school, we had Rocky at the Galleria in Redondo Beach, and I was friends with the cast. I never jumped on or anything like that, but no, we enjoyed it. It was that cult experience of taking in a film together, and we do Rocky here now tonight, as a matter of fact,
fantastic,
every second Friday of the month. But I really fell in love with those places, so I started to volunteer at the American Cinematheque of the Egyptian for a good 2.5 years. I volunteered there, and just really, I always felt at home at these places. I felt at home, not just with the films, but with the conversations that would happen in the lobby, with the kind of people that would come in, with the staff. We just all spoke the same language and all just loved this art form. And it was just clear to me from very early on that no matter what I'd end up doing, what are you going to do when you grow up, it'd be film related. And so I just on my own always shared films. I gotta show you this movie, like at home, whatever. And I guess it just developed. Little by little, I started a MySpace page called Mondo Celluloid that was a film conversation group, which then led to my starting a Mondo Midnight series at the Vista in Silver Lake, which then moved down to the Art Theater of Long Beach. Then I started to program more films beyond Midnight Films. That led to outdoor films, which we still do.
You do outdoor films in cemeteries, right?
We do. We have tomorrow, as a matter of fact, is Purple Rain at the cemetery. Yeah, we do outdoor films at Sunnyside Cemetery. And always with this idea, this hope and dream that I would have a theater to program. And I got this magic miracle random email from the property owner of this place saying, I'm familiar with what you're doing out there. It seems to me you don't have a theater, but apparently you're doing all this amazing film work. Can you come check out the space? It's vacating. We're not quite sure what to do with it. Yeah, and I walked in, I saw 2 screens, and I just saw it. It was like that moment. I always think of that moment in Bugsy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Bugsy. They're driving through the desert, and all of a sudden Warren Beatty makes them stop the car, and he walks out, and he's in the middle of the desert, and he puts his arms out, and he's just visualizing it. And everyone in the car is like, what is he doing? He just saw Vegas. And whether that happened in real life or not, who knows? But that's what happened when I walked in here. I saw art shows, and I saw kind of diverse programming and sort of cross programming and just everything you could do in a space like this. And they gave me a shot, and I still kind of in disbelief. It's been over 2 years, and we're still going.
And the dream became a reality.
The dream became a reality. Yeah, absolutely.
That's fantastic.
It's surreal. Yeah.
So we have a big mural here on the wall that is pretty impressive. I know we're trying to figure out who that Mexican actor is, but tell us about that.
Oh, it's fantastic. When we first came in and they gave me a site visit, there was a lot that I knew we needed to work on in terms of, like I said, fixing up the lobby so it could be an art gallery. There's a giant broken mirror. The auditoriums are painted yellow, which beyond aesthetically being unpleasing, doesn't work for cinema. It reflects light back out onto the audience. You want your cinemas to be as dark as possible, and so there was some conversation. Okay, well, we'll just paint everything dark, and I was like, we're not touching that mural. I'm like, that's art. And so in both auditoriums there's a mural, and they're lovely and they're part of the history. And I refused, and they're actually painted onto the wall, so I just refused to touch them. But what's been interesting is ourselves, our landlord. We've talked to so many different groups. No one seems to know who painted that mural.
Oh, wow.
So we've actually had the library's historical department, a professor at a local college that does a lot of history. Got a few people trying to find out the story, because if that person is still, with us, I've been wanting to do an event to welcome them back, because apparently these murals are at least 27, 28 years old. And I don't know, that person never got that recognition, but they're part of history. I mean, they've been up here that long and they're gorgeous. And I mean, it's just a beautiful mural. They're historic, and they're part of our home. And so, if you're watching, and you might know, I don't know if you'll get shots of it later, but we're trying to find you wherever you are and give you a nice recognition over here.
That's fantastic. Logan, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
This is Niswander, and you're watching The NOWMAN Show.